is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? It is Phil Nagy on Sports joining you here, and it is time, whoops, I'm not sure why I did that, to see the results of the draft that I just finished up here as the Browns, as the general manager here, as we rebuild the Browns here in a quick offseason. Just finished it up about an hour ago. I feel like the Browns are better. Just because of the way that the timing works. Free agency is actually easier to do after free agency is actually easier to do after the draft in the game, because you don't have to worry about weird signing bonuses and their, what their interests are and all that stuff. You can just go ahead and pick the guys you want. You sign them to a one-year deal, because that's all the farther into the future we'll probably go. So anyway, I will do a full Browns roster recap video here in a couple of days once I finish the free agency period. So let's take a quick look at the draft. I tried to go with most of people's mocks at the beginning with the first few picks, and then after that I let the computer pick for teams other than the Browns. So as expected, Fernando Mendoza, number 1 overall to the Raiders. Arvell Reese going to go number 2 to the Jets. Jeremiah Love, everybody is mocking him to the Cardinals at 3. Caleb Townsend goes to the Titans at 4. Jordan Tyson going to go to the Giants. It looks like they picked him over Carnell Tate. I was happy to run up to the podium and take Carnell Tate. You can see their ratings over there in the overall column right here, by the way. So a lot of these top draft picks, high 70s and 80s. Caleb looked like Tyson was a 79 and Tate was an 81. So we'll take it, I guess right on that one. Then Ruben Bain falls to the Commanders. They need pass rush help. Peter Woods to the Chiefs. Big K-Mac, already the 3rd Buckeye taken. 4th Buckeye taken. Yeah, oh my gosh. 4th Buckeye in the top 9. That's pretty wild. Caden McDonald, nose tackle there. Then David Bailey falls to the Bengals. They need defensive help in a big way, so they're going to be excited about that. Kenyon Sadiq going to join Baker Mayfield's attack. Look at him, an 81 right out of the box. Very talented tight end out of Oregon. Then you're going to have Jermod McCoy, the top cornerback in the draft, going to the Dolphins. Keldrick Falk to the Cowboys, and look at them, they overdrafted. He's only a 74 rated player. They could have taken Mansour Delane. Of course, he goes to the Ravens. They draft him as a cornerback, 78 overall. Avian Terrell goes to the Rams, second, 3rd best cornerback on the board there. Caleb Banks, D-tackle from the Colts, is up next. Then you're going to have Cassius Howell, Texas A&M speed rusher, to pair opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. Colton Hood to the Vikings. Spencer Fano then goes to the Panthers. Next up would be Makai Lemon, another talented receiver. You can see he's also an 80 rated player, and he is going to go to the Packers. The Packers continue to get a bunch of receivers. This was the first kind of shock of the day. I should tell you that in the game, Aaron Rodgers does retire, so they are quarterback needy, and they draft Ty Simpson. And you can see his rating coming into the game is going to be a 70. Where was Mendoza at? 77? Yeah, 77 for Mendoza. So a big drop from QB1 to QB2. Ty Simpson to the Steelers. He'll start battling it out with Mason Rudolph and Will Howard, of course. Then you're going to have Sonny Styles to the Eagles. They continue to get really good players. CJ Allen. Then we had our pick of the tackles. I decided to go with Maui Noah. I also had Proctor right there on the board. But I decided to go with Maui Noah. I think he's the best prospect at the tackle position, ready to play, but he's a right tackle. So in this particular version of our team, we'll keep DeWand on the left, and we will go with Maui Noah on the right. I could have gone Caden Proctor, who's more of a true left tackle. In fact, some people are prognosticating him as a guard in the NFL, which is crazy because he is a gigantic human being. So we're going to go with Francis Maui Noah from the Miami Hurricanes to be our starting right tackle from day one, across from DeWan Jones, who's in a final prove-it year for us. TJ Parker, edge rusher, goes to the Bears. There's Caden Proctor to the 49ers. Trent Williams, oh, by the way, retired in the game, so he's going to be the heir apparent to Trent Williams. Then you're going to get the defensive tackle Christian Miller to the Texans. Akeem Messidor, the other rusher, to the Bills. Anthony Hill Jr., a Mike linebacker, to the Rams. A center, Connor Lew, the best center in the draft. You can see he's only a 71 overall rated, but that's a little bit of a jump. The Broncos decide they want to go center in a big way. Jennings Dunker, we saw some of the issues on the offensive line for the Patriots last night, even in the Super Bowl. And then Keontae Scott, he is a slot cornerback, big, heavy nickel guy. You can see a 72 overall rated him. And, yeah, they could have used them in this year's game, couldn't they have? So that's a little bit of what round 1 looked like. I'm not going to take you through every single round because that's just too much, but I will take you through rounds 1 and 2 and then show you all the Browns picks as well. Round number 2, Brandon Cece, corner from South Carolina. Then you got Vega Ione to the Jets. Denzel Boston went to the Cardinals. Concepcion's going to go with Mendoza here. Deontay Lawson to the Giants, and Caleb Loma went. Then we decided to take Pregnon, the guard, one of the top 2 guards, either he or Ione, depending on who you listen to. You can see they're both 73 overall rated. Over here on the right side of this graph, you can see they're both sitting at 73. So the 2 best guards in the game, both 73. And we go with Emmanuel Pregnon from Oregon. And R. Mason Thomas. There's Dalen Everett from Georgia. Zion Young. Chris Bell, he's the one from Louisville who tore his ACL, but should be pretty good playmaker. And again, going to the... didn't I want who, Bo? I don't know who you're referring to. Vega Ione. Oh, Pregnon. I mean, they need a guard, so any of these guys that are available are fine with me. Chris Bell, then Eli Stowers, the second tight end off the board. Jeremy Bernard to the Cowboys. Dante Corleone. Max Clare, go Bucks, to the Falcons. You can see he's a 75. There's Jake Slaughter. Yes, you can't type in the real words, the real spelling of Slaughter, because that's apparently slang. So the second best center in the game, actually he's a better rated player than Connor Lew, goes to the Colts. Then you're going to have Jabe DeCoste. You're going to have Jake Galday, Monroe Freeling, Josiah Trotter. You can see all these guys, their ratings on that column. You know, low 60s, even a couple of high 70s. There's Caleb Tiernan, Elijah Surratt from the national champion team, Dominique Orange, Joseph Stevens, Dylan Thieneman, the Purdue safety who transferred to Oregon for his senior year. Then we're going to get Blake Miller, the right tackle out of Clemson, LT Overton from Alabama, Jadarian Price from Notre Dame, Garrett Nussmeier, third quarterback off the board. He's going to go be the heir apparent to Matt Stafford. Interesting choice for them. He did actually, you know what, there's a couple guys who retired in the game, and one of them is Matt Stafford. I don't think he's going to retire in real life, so I will actually make him. So I think this was them maybe panicking and trying to get a quarterback, but we'll make sure it works. Hey, Jim, howdy to you as well. Jonah Coleman from Washington is going to go to the Broncos. Kamari Ramsey, and then Emmett Johnson to the Seahawks, another talented, shifty running back for them. All right, I'm not going to show you again all rounds. That would be ridiculous, but I will show you who the Browns ended up with. So we took, you already saw the top 3, so we took Tate and Maui Noah in the first round, then we took Pregnon. Then we took Omar Cooper Jr., so another receiver in the top 4 picks for us. You can see he's a 71 overall rated, but that 93 speed, he is the deep threat from the national champion Indiana Hoosiers. Speaking of national champion Hoosiers, how about taking their starting safety? Pat Coogan, who started at Notre Dame and then ended at Indiana, 72 overall, so he will probably be our starting center, or at least fight Luke Whippler for that job. Then we went with tight end Joe Royer, actually a kid that I'll check, Bo. I did not get him. He went earlier than I anticipated he would go, but I will check who got him for you. Joe Royer, who started at Ohio State, that went to Cincinnati, he'll be kind of tight end number 3 because I'm going to try to go get Isaiah Likely in free agency. Joshua Braun, just a depth guard at this point, but he's actually a 73 overall rating, which is interesting. It's actually the same rating as Pregnon, so maybe he across from Tevin Jenkins, kind of that third guard battling Mazinter. Then I went with Jalen Kilgore, a true slot, to be the nickel cornerback between Tyson Campbell and Denzel Ward. You can see he's a 70 overall. Good agility there at an 88 for a fifth. These are the 3 fifth-round picks, right? Then I decided, because everybody's talking about it, I traded Dylan Gabriel for the Falcons' 6th-round pick, and I picked up this guy right here, Jalen Catalon, who is just a depth safety, free safety. You can see he's a 67 overall player there out of UNLV. Adam Randall, just a depth running back again. That one was an accidental auto pick. So there you go. I was going to take a running back at some point. I probably just wasn't going to take him. And then Riley Mullman, another tackle, another prospect. You can see he's there at a 67 as well. So trying to build the depth in that room. No, I actually made sure that I picked a draft class that didn't have. I picked a guy, the guys who are not in this class, because I didn't want to do that to myself. I guess there's no way to tell. I'll have to do it this way. We looked at the top 2 rounds. There he is. He's going to the Saints. Jay Rodriguez is your guy. So no, Arch was not in this draft. So yeah, I ended up picking. Oh, he went 2 picks after Cooper Jr. So I could have pulled the trigger, but because this is fantasy land and me being in charge of the Browns, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah will be coming back to our team this year. So we didn't need Jacob Rodriguez, although he's, as you can see, a 72 overall rating there, and he'll be on the Saints down there. So there's the safety from Toledo, Manuel McNeil Warren. I looked at him as well. So any other players anybody wants me to check real quick? If not, I'll get out of here. This was not meant to be a super long video, but I think our team got better. And there's Todd Monken, his face right in the middle. Interestingly enough, I went ahead and fired the offensive coordinator, and it automatically hired Mike McDaniel as our offensive coordinator. So there you go. That's kind of fun. He'll be our offensive coordinator. All right, guys. Appreciate you being on. This one was fun. Mr. Relevant, apparently Rayon Strader for the Chicago Bears. But I feel like the Browns have a good draft here. Again, I'll put it up one more time here at the end of the video. But that's what we're looking at. Tate, Maui Noah, Pregnon, Cooper, Coogan, Royer, Braun, Kilgore, Catalan, Randall, and Riley Mullman to end. A big tackle from Wisconsin always feels good on the Browns. I don't know why. Maybe it's a Joe Thomas thing. All right, I'll finish up free agency, and I will unveil the rest of the Browns roster here in just a couple of days. That's how quickly we get to this virtual off season. Take care, guys. Be safe. As always, go Browns!